Alright, everything should be good now, all issues figured out. Just go back to the old ways, as they say, but it is preseason testing for a reason. Ouroboros in the Ferrari. Top of the boards, 32.952. Currently the time to beat. Phoenix Gecko only 0.02 of a second behind. Just had to go back to the old ways. Ouroboros leading. Where is Prieto, our reigning champion? Maybe still on vacation, not wanting to get right back into the swing of things and maybe let the rest of the field have their chance. But Ouroboros, teammate to the reigning champion and likely still teammates. They've been teammates for quite some time. I'd be very surprised if they split up, as they have been a dynamic duo. And are they looking to do the double? Taking home the team championship in Season 4. Will they do the same in Season 5? Griffith goes fastest in the Mustang, showing some definite speed. Griffith, maybe a change of cars, a change of pace, and definitely finding some pace. Knocking Ouroboros off the top step in practice. Now it is going to come down to qualifying, and it is also just preseason, so maybe won't have all of our drivers giving it their 110% like they will in round number 1. But for the preseason, maybe it's a time to find the limit. Push as hard as you can, go as fast as you can. But once again, thank you to GoFAST Racing. Hopefully no more issues for the rest of the night. Thank you to GoFAST Racing for the opportunity to commentate the fastest league in sim racing. And thank you to those who are tuned in on the YouTube side as well. And thank you to those who may be new to GoFAST Racing, new to the streams. As Griffith pulls it into the pit lane for a practice pit stop, will Ouroboros do the same? Final time across the line for Ouroboros, 0.04 of a second behind. The first place set by Griffith, and is not going to happen there. He may have had the time on the Delta, but was unable to bring it to the line. The number 30 of Peachy across the line, P23. Still a couple drivers out there on track. The number 93 of Mataj Didas. Going back to the gamer tag. But Mataj currently P10. And Nate P in the pros. At least in preseason, showing that he is ready to compete in the upper class. 416 of Slapshot. Former champion. Was on a bit of a retribution tour in Season 4. Probably hoping for a little bit better result on that tour here this season in Season 5, but did manage a pole position and at Bathurst of all the tracks. Slapshot staying in the McLaren. We'll see if he's able to bring any different result this season, as we will get transitioned over. We will get transitioned over into qualifying. It is going to be AM qualifying. Who is out first? Is it the 427 of Nate? No, it is not. It is going to be the 12 of a Nightwalker. in the Ferrari first out for our AM qualifying. So 20-minute qualifying session split by 2 classes, 10 minutes per class. So our AM field will go out there on track first, get their laps in, get the track nice and warm, and then they will step aside for the pro field to get out and give us the show as GoFAST Racing Pro Qualifying, one of the best events of the race night. We'll see if we get a similar show for the AM qualifying. But once again, thank you to everyone who has tuned into the streams on both Twitch and YouTube. As the hay bales at the second chicane go flying. I am Retrovex. I have been commentating sim racing for about a year. GoFAST Racing for, well, I'd say a few months now. Don't know the exact date that I started with GoFAST Racing. I could go back and find out. But GoFAST Racing has definitely been some of the best racing that I have had on stream. Some of the highest viewer counts. And an overall awesome community, but this community purely for competition. We do get along in there, and we have had a good off season, but it is time to get back into it, back into the nitty-gritty. There is race control. Stewards will apply penalties as needed after the race. And 2 championships, technically 4 championships, an AM driver championship, a pro driver championship, an AM team championship, and an AM, or a pro team championship. And thank you, Alex, for the Prime subscription. If you would like to support the streams, help me cover the cost of the Lightstream overlay service, the best way to do that would be with a Twitch Prime subscription, or possibly even a regular Twitch subscription, or bits if you have any of those. I would also just greatly appreciate it if you'd hit that follow button. It goes a long way, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. How's it going, Zentig? Long time no see. Currently on board with Nightwalker, who is going to be on an invalid lap. Does not mean that he doesn't have any speed, just won't be able to record that lap on this time around. The number 296 of Diego, I believe, is out early. I think we have a couple drivers in the pro field that are out a little early. Zoanam goes fastest in AM qualifying. And it is just preseason, so we iron a few of these things early. But again, it is a split qualifying between the pro field and the AM field. The pro drivers are those with the white boxes around their name. The AM drivers are those with the gray boxes. Shouldn't be too much of an issue in the preseason round, but as we do go into the pro round, things like that would be penalized in either qualification bans, or you will not be able to participate in the pro qualifying. Peachy goes fastest in AM. Nate P went quick, but Peachy goes a lot quicker. And again, we do have a couple pro drivers out setting some laps in, but I don't think they will be able to continue. Peachy currently on the pole in the AM field. And Nate has about 3/10 to cover, and then about a quarter of a second back to Sierra. The top I believe it is 6 of the AM field, separated by right around 1 second. And it's fine. That's what preseason is for. Peachy in a very good position with the AM pole so far. We are a little over halfway through the AM qualifying session. And the pros will be getting started shortly. Peachy does not improve on that lap. Nate P in the Mustang, just coming into turn 3 of Cascades for rolling it down the Lakeside Straight. Who was that? I believe that was Leclerc in the Ferrari, diving out of the way. But as of right now, Peachy is the one to beat in AM, coming into the old shell hairpin. Here at Oulton Park, it may seem a little busy. We only have our 20-car AM field out there. I believe it is just 20 cars. 19, sorry, not 19. I believe it is actually about 17 in total. Disregard the 2 pros at the top of the field for the time being. But it is going to be tight running here at Oulton Park, as it does get a bit narrow. All of our AM drivers have set times. Peachy has the time to beat. Scary in the black and yellow BMW, currently running P14. James Earl Jones in the Lexus. Sierra not in the Lexus. So I think James Earl Jones will be our only AM driver, at least tonight, who is running in the Lexus. Peachy does eclipse one of those pros that went out prematurely. Very close to the 32s that Ouroboros was running. Peachy right about a 34 or 33.8. Coming down the hill to the second hairpin. Peachy trying to find a bit more time. And everyone will have one final lap for qualifying. Sierra, second place in the AM Championship. Sorry, not in the AM Championship, in the AM field, but looking for a championship this season. Was in contention last season. Kind of lost Sierra there. I think we may have lost Sierra. We'll hop on with the number 99 McLaren of Schwartz. Getting closer to a few of our drivers starting their final flying lap. Schwartz will be one of those. The 555 of Manelli taking on the Aston Martin this season. Manelli, second place in the Season 4 AM Championship, looking for an opportunity to take home that championship win, the elusive championship win, and promote to the pro class. But Manelli going to abandon this lap and will be done for now. Nightwalker, the number 13 Ferrari, out of Lodge Corner, up over the crest and across the line. Needs a good bit of time. Finds P9, knocks Manelli down to P10. The 81 of Scoliosis goes P6. That would be P4 in AM. Number 90 of Michael D will be the first to officially finish his qualifying session. Out of the Mercedes and into the Porsche for the AM driver. Stays P18 as our pro field gets rolling out, being led by Aramich in the Aston Martin. Peachy in the number 30 McLaren 720S GT3. One of 3 AM drivers out on track to try and set a faster lap. I don't think it'll be faster on this one, so likely a practice pit stop for Peachy, and that it is. Gets it slowed down. The 99 of Schwartz also coming in. I believe that is going to be the end of our AM qualifying. So for the AM field, it's Peachy on pole, Sierra P2, Nate P3, Scroliosis P4, James Earl Jones P5, Schwartz P6, Silva P7, Nightwalker P8, Manelli P9, Leclerc P10, Zoanon P11, Cade P12, Rowden P13, Scari P14, Devin Lingard P15, Michael D P16, and Christian B P17. Aramich leads the pro field to get started with their qualifying. Who is that behind? It looks to be 2 teammate Mustangs. Who are those teammates? I see the 334 of Peach and the 314 of Ormiston, and I can tell you right now that is going to be a dynamic duo to try and hold back. It is not going to be easy, though. And ladies and gentlemen, get ready for the show. That is the pro qualifying here with GoFAST Racing. Aramich, Team BDK mod, using some different colors this season. But the 2 Mustang teammates behind a previous champion in Ormiston, and multiple podiums for the Mustang of Peach. These are 2 drivers that are very well versed in their machinery. Aramich in the Aston Martin, also well versed in his machinery of choice. Down into the second hairpin, and then up the hill through the double left-hand kinks before the hard right-hander of Dunlop. Sorry, not Dunlop, Druids. Another corner that starts with a D. And then into the final corner of Lodge Corner. A bit awkward as you have some elevation to contend with in a very awkward spot. Currently 5th fastest for Aramich. Peach goes 4th fastest with the pros of Yellow Lemon and Diego in there. Sylph goes fastest in the Mustang at 33.324. Yellow Lemon still in 2nd place in the Manti-colored McLaren 720S GT3. Doesn't find any more time on that lap. Griffith currently 3rd, now goes 4th fastest as Slapshot, who is going to try and have a bit of a better showing this season compared to the previous season. The Valiant returned last season and did have some good results, but not quite the result that he was looking for. Now it is going to be the triumphant return for Slapshot, at least he hopes. And off sliding, spinning around, number 22 Mercedes of Platypus, and back into the pit lane. Sylph currently the one to beat, and is behind the BMW. I believe that is the 28 BMW of Goose. Sylph making an appearance with us again in GoFAST Racing, as we are looking to have another great season. Broke many records in Season 4, had an average driver count, and that is drivers who had started the race over 40, which is an astronomical amount, especially for a 10-week season for a console sim racing league. Ouroboros with Animus Racing goes fastest, but for not very long, as Griffith goes faster. No one into the sub-33s yet, but they're inching ever so much closer. It's Griffith on pole with a 33.065. A bit tight with the two teammates, Peach and Ormiston, but they may be giving each other a bit of slipstream down the straights. Some teamwork going on, still chasing the number 9 Aston Martin of Aramich up ahead. Silth down to P3, Slapshot down to P4. Salinas, who is now in the McLaren away from the Ford Mustang, in P5. Diego P6 currently. YOLO Limit in the Manti McLaren, P7. And Peachy in the number 30 McLaren was 8th, now 9th, now 10th in the overall qualifying, but still the AM pole sitter. But a big thing with the AM and Pro field, the faster that the AM driver qualifies, the more Pro drivers they will have between themselves and the next in contention. Griffith, Phoenix Gecko dropped us into the sub-33s, but Griffith immediately followed suit. Phoenix Gecko up to P2. Griffith back on pole at 32.737. Sticky Sir, we are doing good. Break from GoFAST Racing. It was a bit longer than I wanted, and I am very happy to be back streaming with GoFAST. Once again, thank you to those of you who tune in, those of you who support me in what I do, and thank you to those who are out there racing, giving me something to stream in the first place. Slapshot back up to P3. About a 10th, 900ths of a second clear of Ouroboros. Griffith into the pit lane, likely to come out with just one lap to go, one final hot lap. Phoenix Gecko gets it a bit upset coming out of the second chicane. The 86 of Trixit, currently P23 overall. Trixit, bit of work to do to close up the gap to the teammate who is currently P8. Few of our drivers will be starting their final flying laps of the race, or sorry, of qualifying. I believe the first to do so will be the number 4 of Langley. I believe Langley promoted to Pro last season. Currently P10. And also has the teammate of Dingham in the BMW, who also promoted P21. The 86 of Trixit currently 1.7 seconds off the pace. Looking for a lot of improvement in lap time. Does he find any? Goes up to P14. That's currently 5 pro drivers between Peachy and Sierra, the top 2 in AM. Does Griffith find any more time? Not on this lap. He'll have one more lap. Try and find some improvement. Phoenix Gecko in the pit lane will not improve. So as of right now, Griffith has a 0.2 of a second buffer. Needs to hope that the 443 of Silth is not able to close that gap. Silth will get one more try. But as of right now, it is all about Griffith, 0.2 clear of the rest of the field. Don't believe that we have Prieto in the session. I don't think we do. So no reigning champion in here with us. But I can guarantee you he will be with us for the start of The season Langley across the line, P11, stays P11. The teammate of Dingham, P22, stays P22. The number 93 Ferrari of Mataj Didas, currently P13, looking to find some more time. Hopefully get up into the top 10. Needs about 0.3 of a second to do so. We'll see if he's got that time, carrying a good bit of speed through Lodge Corner. It's nice and tidy on the exit. Up the crest, very tight to the inside. Not good enough to improve, stays P13. The number 39 into the pit lane. The 22 of Platypus goes P10. The number 9 of Aramich into the pit lane for a practice pit stop. The 443 of Silth will do the same. The 416 of Slapshot, does he have enough in it to take the pole away? Needs a little over 1/4 of a second. Does he stay on the power? And is this going to be another attempt at a flying lap? He's going to cross the line. What'll it be for Slapshot? Found some time, but not enough. Yellow Lemon in the McLaren pulls into the pit lane, and the 7 of Marvy goes P18. It is Griffith on pole. Phoenix Gecko P2, Silth P3, Slapshot P4, Ouroboros P5. Peach P6, YOLO Lemon P7, Salinas P8, Mitch P9, Platypus P10, Diego P11, Langley P12, Peachy P13, Mataj P14, Trixit P15, Ormiston P16, Goose P17, Marvy P18, Sierra P19, Francisco P20, Nate P21, Dingham P22, Scoliosis P23, James Earl Jones P24, Schwartz P25, Silva 26, Nightwalker 27, Manelli 28, Leclerc 29, Zoanam 30, Cabe 31, Rowden 32, Scary 33, Lingard 34, Michael D 35, Christian B 36, and Lynch 37. Don't go anywhere. We will take a quick break between qualifying and the race, and we will be right back for the start of the formation lap. For those of you who can hear me, it is going to be a bit tight. And I did say those drivers who are at the very back won't be able to see the start-finish line, and I really don't think they can. Welcome back, and we are rolling for the formation lap. Griffith leading with Phoenix Gecko P2, Sylph P3, and Slapshot P4. Ouroboros P5, Peach P6. That top 3 rows, there is a ton of talent among those 6 drivers. Griffith is leading, and I believe this is very possibly Griffith's first pole position with GoFAST Racing. Phoenix in P2, Sylph in P3, and Sylph an absolutely lightning fast driver. Down in P3, Slapshot P4, and we've got quite a few new liveries we may be able to take a look at as we'll just kind of go down the grid. Look at our new liveries. I have to familiarize myself with all of the new liveries for our drivers as they come through. Island Bend does give us a good angle to get a good look at our drivers' liveries this season. This is not all of our drivers that are signed up, as we do expect a few more in our official season start. But 37 drivers on the grid is not bad for a preseason race. Mike will be very odd to see him not in a Mercedes. But it's all about Griffith today, transitioning away from the McLaren to the Ford Mustang. It seems to have done a good justice for him as he put that Mustang on pole. Griffith P1, Phoenix Gecko P2, Sylph P3. It is going to be a mad dash for the inside line at turn 1. And I am excited. We line up 2 by 2 for the formation lap as we get ready to take the green flag for the first time in GoFAST Racing Season 5. 37 drivers, 2 classes, and all new pole sitters with a lot of talent sprinkled far behind. Is Griffith able to keep it at the front here in 45 minutes time? Does Phoenix take it? Does Sylph take it? Does Slapshot take it in a rise back to glory? Only one way to find out. Green, green, green. We are racing here Season 5 preseason at Oulton Park with GoFAST Racing. And 2 by 2 they stay, but no immediate contact, and a good size pile up at the start of the field. And Slapshot able to capitalize, but they're 3 wide behind, desperately fighting for track position. Dust sprayed all over the place. The Ferrari of Mataj taking some damage early, and we do have a couple drivers that have also been involved in that with damage. Still nowhere really to go for this field, as it is very, very tight and narrow. But Slapshot able to get out front with the Mustang of Peach in tow. Griffith recollected himself back into P3. Phoenix Gecko down to P4. Selena's P7. Sylph, one who lost out the most, they're down all the way to P16. will he have time to reclaim those positions? He definitely has the speed to do so, but you need a bit of luck and coordination, especially here at a track like Oulton Park. It's getting rowdy between the leaders. A Slapshot, again, he wasn't the fastest in the session, and Peach definitely seems to have some speed in that Mustang. Griffith was the fastest, and well, he's got something to fight for now as the nerves, blood, it's all nice and flowing for Griffith. I don't think he's going to be extremely happy about that move at the start. Some contact between Phoenix and Griffith. But ultimately, Silth was the one that lost out the most there. And Silth early into the pit lane, likely going to go on a separate pit strategy. We'll see how that works out. He's going to have to go long on fuel, long on tires, but it's not impossible. We'll see how much of that damage Silth opts to repair as well. Where has Ouroboros ended up in all of this? And Ouroboros, one of those drivers pretty far down the grid with a good amount of damage on that Ferrari 296. Things are beginning to get a bit tight between our leaders. Slapshot still holding, and Peach now having to start to defend against the fellow Mustang of Griffith. On the brakes through Druids. Holding the gap nicely. How's it looking for Slapshot? Mustangs are definitely going to have a top speed advantage, but Oulton Park not really a top speed reliant course. And I think the mid-engine rotation of that McLaren 720S definitely helping apply the power earlier out of the corner. Doesn't quite have the oomph of the Voodoo V8 in those Mustangs, but maybe handling a bit more of a strength here at Oulton Park compared to the Mustang, which is not a bad handling car. It's just not its 100% strong suit. Just heard the 443 Mustang of Silth, who is back out on track. We'll actually look and see how much of that damage he has opted to repair. I think he has repaired all of it, and Silth may be a bit dangerous in this position, left alone to hot lap, no traffic around. And that is a perfect recipe for getting back up to the front of the field. See some yellow flags in the old shell corner. The number 7 of Marvy, the recipient of one of those yellow flags, I think maybe had just had an off at the old shell corner. Pressure being applied onto the McLaren of Slapshot. Remember, there is a one-stop requirement, as I think Marvy now finally getting updated in his position. But a one-stop requirement, I believe a splash and dash is in the rule book. It is possible, not really going to be the strategy that I think would have the most speed to it. As a handling track such as Oulton Park, you definitely want to take some tires. Peach holds the fastest lap, and likely so in the slipstream of the McLaren. You also have number 81 of Scoliosis, not a lap down, at least not yet, but the leaders are catching. Also have the number 30 in the pit lane. That is the 30 of Peachy. The Am pole sitter had some damage, I believe, coming in to repair that damage. Hopefully not the end of his race. Slapshot still leading 3 laps into this race. And now the top three have kind of broken away from the rest of the field. Phoenix Gecko in the BMW, not really able to contend with the top speed of those two Mustangs, especially with each other in each other's slipstream. They're able to really get a big advantage on the short straightaway sections that we do have. And I believe Phoenix with a bit of damage on the front of that BMW as well. Don't know exactly how much that will affect the handling of his car. And also the 81 of Scroll is going to become a factor in this battle as well. We'll be receiving blue flags as the leaders come by, but it is a matter of when the leaders do end up catching Scroll. Still the top three closely contending. Ouroboros went down to nearly the back of the field up to P24 and has to slice and dice his way through the AM field. Platypus, Season 3 Pro runner-up, and did not quite have as good of a run in Season 4. This gets a bit of a commentator's curse here and some door banging between the McLaren of YOLO and the Mercedes of Platypus is actually going to open the door for Aramich to pull through by the time they get to Druids. Slapshot getting closer and closer to the Porsche of Scroll. Peach and Griffith. Peach more so than Griffith. Applying the pressure to the previous champion and current race leader of Slapshot. Going back to number 4 P9 BMW of Langley. Tight in this group. Again, YOLO in the McLaren lost those two positions to Platypus and Aramich, and a bit of contact between himself and Platypus. I believe it would be looked at as a racing incident. But again, we do have stewarding that will report or take a look at all reported incidents post-race and apply penalties as necessary. You can find information on that. What has happened to Ormiston in the pit lane, and I don't think there's much damage on that car. Is this a strategy call? Griffith starting to get a bit eager, wants to get that position away from Griffith. And the opportunity will arise as Griffith gets it, or not Griffith, Peach gets it all wrong, and will lose two positions, 1 to Griffith, 1 to Phoenix. And Griffith up to P2, now able to chase down the leading McLaren of Slapshot with no contention. Sometimes you just have to wait for a mistake to happen. Not everyone is perfect. Not the driver with the most wins, not the driver with the most poles, not the driver that's at the back of the pack. Everyone has their time, everyone makes mistakes, and when that mistake happens, finding the best time to strike is how you win races. And Griffith takes the fastest lap back, has P2, and wants to get back where he believes he has the right to be, and that's back at the front of the field. And I think he's got the pace to do so. Things are getting a bit tight here between Langley, YOLO, and Diego. I believe Langley got past the McLaren. And YOLO currently moving backwards through the field as he's got Diego, and then Trixit and Goose a bit further behind. That is also, I think that is actually just Trixit. That is the lapped Porsche of Scroll. And Ormiston, I think, possibly done for the day, maybe got caught in an incident. And I believe they may be parking that 314 Mustang. In the AM field is a massive contact with the inside wall. Lynch surprisingly, that Mustang still runs, but it's likely going to be a pit lane entry for Lynch. I think Lynch is still trying to get that Mustang moving, but I am surprised that that car is still running with that hard front impact into the wall. You'd think it would damage the engine, but I guess not. Ferrari's battling between Zoenom and Leclerc into turn 1. Zoenom eyed the move. It was starting to materialize, but it was not quite close enough to get that move done. And still Griffith fighting for the position, fighting for the lead to get it back from Slapshot. Slapshot took the lead as the seas parted in front of him, as Griffith, Phoenix, and Silth were involved in that contact. And now Griffith applying the pressure, starting to get a bit eager. Really wants to get that race lead back. Was not able to lead a lap, but luckily did not lose too much track position. Fell down to P3. And after a few laps, back up to P2. Just one car between himself and P1. Lynch dives into the pit lane. What do you mean by the Streamer's livery RPG scape? They are not custom liveries. Some of them are custom liveries to the driver, but some drivers also use the liveries that are available in-game. So it seems like the stream is still lagging a bit. It is just preseason, so we do try to iron these things out. But the stream is lagging. I don't know exactly why it's doing that. I have not seen lag at this scale in ever streaming. If there's a time for it to do it, it's now. Hopefully it does not stay. Slapshot started to pull away from the Mustang of Griffith a bit. See if maybe that fixes it a little bit. Everything seems okay now, just a bit of a spike through there. I'm sure of exactly what caused that. Well, at least make sure to reset my internet before the next stream. Big incident. 22 of Platypus involved, the 81 of Scroll involved. Don't think Platypus has a broken wing, but a few cars involved there. Slap still being attacked by the 39 Mustang of Griffith. We are a third of the way through this race. A few drivers needing to go into the pit lane. Griffith getting ever so much more eager to get this spot taken away and to get that lead back, but Slapshot is not going to just hand that lead over. Peach in the 334 trying to get back into the third place position. sure of exactly what caused that incident in which Platypus went off. That was a very, very bad incident there. I don't think Platypus really took much damage, but he did have to thread the needle to get back onto the racing surface. Slapshot still defending, and Peach desperately tries to get the position taken away from Phoenix. Phoenix with a monstrous defense, but is this going to open the door for Salinas? Can he get the 2-for-1? Carried a lot more speed down the hill, but was unable to really get it done. And that opens up the gap between Slapshot and Griffith. Too Slow is definitely being presented tonight. Langley up to P6, Dingham in P13 overall. And with that hard-fought defense between Phoenix and Peach, Peach is able to get third place back, but that has also introduced Salinas into this as well, and that Too Slow Racing pink BMW of Langley just in the background, as Salinas goes very, very wide at Cascades, but is not to be counted out of this fight. Aramich defending against the Ferrari of Diego, does have the McLaren teammate of Trixit behind, but Diego carrying a lot of speed, Trixit doing the same, kind of diamonding the corner. That may end up getting him a better run out of the hairpin, but Aramich definitely has some pressure from the Ferrari driver as they come out of the first chicane down the hill. Aramich not close enough to Diego for Diego to really be a threat, so not going super defensive. Just to check back on the race lead. This battle for the race lead that has gone on for about 25 minutes so far was between Slapshot and Griffith, and then it was between Slapshot and Peach, then became between Slapshot and Griffith. And also the 443 of Sylth, who has just been holding station on the Delta between these two drivers racing for the lead. Cannot count him out whenever it comes to the pit strategy. He will be on, hopefully, a full tank of fuel, or at least enough to go to the end when he did come into the pit lane. Slapshot goes wide. Is the door going to open for Griffith? No, diamonding the corner like you would on a short oval track to carry more speed out. But the Mustang gets a better run through the chicane. Is the opportunity going to arise for Griffith? If it does, how brave is Griffith going to be to take it? We are also getting close to the halfway point. We should start to see some pit stops rolling in. Manelli in the pit lane. Leclerc in the pit lane. Two of our AM drivers coming in. Sylth, as he did have to come in early to repair some damage. Don't know exactly the extent of that damage and the time of repairs, but he leads the drivers who have completed a pit stop, as he will pass Manelli and Leclerc here, which will score him right at P24. But he will be able to leap many drivers who have have not come in yet, who will come in later. Speaking of, Griffith from P2 comes into the pit lane to serve the stop, possibly going for the undercut against Slapshot. We'll see if it works. Salinas in the McLaren also comes into the pit lane, as Langley had gone past just before. Goose in the BMW diving into the pit lane, as we've got some takers, some comers, and some goers, as they would say in NASCAR. And a lot more goers than we've had takers. Slapshot out on his own. Griffith rolls out of the pit lane. Where is the 443 of Silth? He's actually quite a ways back, but possible that he does gain a few positions on the start of this pit cycle. Slapshot still leading. When does Slapshot come into the pit lane? And we have had a bit of an incident. Scroll, I believe, involved in that. And Scroll around. Also collected is the 3 of Ouroboros, who had yellow flags, but I don't think he took any damage. Maybe had just gone off the track. Checking on our race leader, no, does not come in. He's going to stay out another lap. So does Peach. So does Phoenix. So does Langley, who is now up to P4. Mitch dives into the pit lane. Diego stays out. Trixit stays out. Trixit will probably try and apply as much pressure to Diego as he can and buy as much time for the teammate. Nate, who is currently leading the AM class, comes into the pit lane. Dingham stays out. Francisco stays out. The 999 of Sierra stays out. The 12 of Nightwalker comes in to serve the pit stop. Brush with the wall before coming to a stop. Manelli has had an off. And Manelli going to lose a lot of time there, especially after he had just come in to serve the pit stop. Slapshot with a large margin to Peach. Aramich rolls out of the pit lane. Nate rolling out just behind. The 424 of James Earl Jones comes in. Christian B in the Mustang is in. Marvy in the 7 is in. Nightwalker should be coming off the Jackson, rolling out shortly. When does the race leader come in? When does he pull over to the left-hand side? It is now. Slapshot, your race leader, comes into the pit lane. 334 of Peach will stay out. So does Phoenix. Langley in the BMW dives into the pit lane. It's a bit of a sketchy pit lane entry. And so far, we have not had any speeding penalties in pit lane. Diego comes in as well. That does leave Trixit, who will gain a position, and Peach will take the lead of the race, at least for a short moment of time. Did go past the number 12 of Nightwalker. And the 443 of Silth, I believe, has gone off possibly on his own. He's got damage on that Mustang. And what was a good run from the back as Slapshot comes off the jacks has just fallen apart for Silth. Slapshot out of the pit lane, re-entering the track. So does Langley. Slapshot with Griffith up ahead. Has Griffith gotten the undercut and taken the race lead? We'll have to see when they cross the Sector 1 timing line, and that's exactly what has happened. And with traffic of Zoanam, who is still yet to come into the pit lane, Griffith takes the race lead back and rips it out of the hands of Slapshot. Still waiting on Peach to come into the pit lane, and Peach will come into the pit lane on this lap. Phoenix Gecko stays out. Trixit stays out. Trixit comes in. We're still waiting on Dingham to come in, but Griffith has got it done, got the undercut. And has taken the race lead. And now Slapshot, who is clear of the 58 of Zoanam. Sorry, the 55 of Zoanam. Slapshot will try to chase down the Mustang. But with the Pulsator out front all on his own, that is going to be quite the tall order. And Griffith with clean track up ahead. They will get through turn 1 before the drivers who are currently in the pit lane come out. So Griffith in a very good position to take home the win. Langley and Salinas. Salinas and Langley battling for P8. And Zoanam, who has now come into the pit lane for at least a short moment, was scored the AM leader. But Nate P will take that back. Lynch in the 63 Mustang, I believe, going off at Cascades. Zoanam will be the last of our drivers. Actually, no, Phoenix Gecko dives in. Phoenix Gecko will be the last of our drivers to complete a pit stop. And we'll see how staying out this long will have affected Phoenix. Griffith, the race leader. Phoenix was, I believe, P4. Slapshot down to P2, Peach down to P3. We'll have to see where Phoenix comes out of the pit lane and cycles back into the order. Griffith now just coming out of the final corner. Is Phoenix going to be off the jacks in time to get out front? Griffith, the race leader, goes by, and no. Phoenix is going to lose some time. He will come out well behind the 334 of Peach. He will come down behind Salinas. He'll come out behind Langley. Possibly even come out. Will not come out behind Aramich in P7. So down to P6 for Phoenix. Don't know what the issues with the stream is right now. Griffith back in the lead. Slapshot still in P2, and I believe that gap is growing. Not looking good for Slapshot's hopes at tonight's win. Langley and Salinas now fighting for P4, with the podium position held by Peach just a little ways ahead. So this could turn out to be a battle for a podium if they can catch the Mustang driver. Marvy and Leclerc for P18 overall. We'll hop back on this fight between Salinas and Langley. They are getting a bit close to each other. They have cycled past the AM Lexus of James Earl Jones. Again, not sure what's going on with the overlays there. 21 of Yolo Limit gets our first penalty of the race, a drive-through penalty for track limits. Aramich up to P7. In Oulton Park, a tricky track, likely lent to a smaller showing of drivers. Nightwalker and Marvy in a battle here. Nightwalker defensive into the second chicane. Again, I am sorry for the issues with the overlays. This Nightwalker goes way wide, and let's Marvy take that position right back. We'll just have to hope that we don't have any issues with the stream and overlay in race number 1 of the season. Salinas and Langley continuing their fight, still well within slipstream of each other, and Phoenix Gecko slowly bringing up the rear in this fight as well. 443 of Sylph has made his way up to P14. Not anywhere near the third place that he was looking for, but again, it is just preseason. Does not mean too much in the realm of the Season 5 in and of itself. And to bring a was-damaged car, repair it, damage it again, and be running in P14 and possibly in contention for P13. And if he can continue, the top 10 is not outside of the realm of possibility. Salinas and Langley. Phoenix Gecko is now well within that slipstream range. We may have a three-way fight for P4 between Salinas, Langley, and Phoenix. Oulton Park, a tricky track, and it has definitely lent itself to be so. So we've had a lot more mistakes than we usually do with the GoFAST Racing crowd. And thank you, CLX, for the follow. Now we have a full-on battle here. Is Phoenix going to go for the move at Lodge? No, he does not, but a very quick feint of the move. Trying to get a reaction out of Langley. There was none to be had, though. Langley now going slightly defensive into turn 1. Phoenix really wants to get this position taken back. And Langley makes a bit of a mistake. It's going to be a drag race side by side down the Lakeside Straight into the Island Bend. If Langley can keep the nose through Island Bend, but no, runs out of road and around, will keep it out of the wall, and manages to keep it fired as well. Will go through the cut through in the wall, but has now been dropped out of that fight and lobs himself up onto the banking. Phoenix Gecko up to P5. Langley tried to hold it around the outside, but there just was not enough rubber for enough road. These tires at that speed don't do very well in the grass. And it was just off into the English countryside for Langley. Lots of BMW on BMW battles. Dingham and Francisco here fighting for P12. Less than 10 minutes left to go in this race. And it is pretty much all about Griffith. And Griffith definitely going to hope to repeat this result in race 1. Could be wrong. And also the 555 of Manelli. Massive contact on the front of that Aston Martin. And I think his night is going to be done, especially this late in the race. But Griffith, I could be wrong. possibly going for his first win in GoFAST Racing, while this one will be off the books. It is going to set a precedent that Griffith has the speed to do so in the official season. Mustang there. Which Mustang is that? I believe that is the Mustang of Christian B and Scary. These two fighting for P24. They might have a righteous battle for P24. The 51 of Leclerc around at Druids does get it re-entered. Actually, no, he does not. I think he may have spun around and gone off the other side of the track. And the 296 of Diego in the pit lane. We've got a few cars in the pit lane whose nights are done. Salinas and Phoenix. This now the fight for P4. Phoenix all over the rear of the McLaren. Will he try and go for the crossover into threes? Salinas is going to hold him, but no. Phoenix will get the drive through three. And now Salinas in the same exact position that Langley was in. Will Salinas be able to hold it? He does. Phoenix runs a bit wide and runs wide through the hairpin. Salinas has a nose. Is it enough? It's not. I don't think it's going to be enough. Phoenix will lock back in ahead and have the lead through the first of the two chicanes, which will then open up the gap to the next chicane. But Salinas not out of that fight 100%. Fight between Scary and Christian B. YOLO also in this fight. Christian wants to get it. YOLO wants to get the position on Christian. He will take it. YOLO looking to slice his way through the field. Did have to serve that drive-through penalty and is probably trying his best to reclaim position since then. YOLO absolutely slicing through. I think he may get the move on Scary here into turn one. Won't happen in turn one. If he can get a better drive through one, might be able to do it at three. Christian B with an almighty save directly in front of the race leader. Or sorry, not the race leader, the race leader of Slapshot. Slapshot goes ahead of Christian B. Christian did have the blue flags there. YOLO wants to go up the inside of Scary, but it's not quite going to happen. The race leader, and they bang doors, YOLO and Scary. Don't want to make any enemies in preseason, but Scary may have racked one up right there. As we have seen a few rivalries throughout the seasons here with GoFAST Racing. Usually they get formed on track, and usually they get formed in the season, but it's never too early to start a rivalry. Langley and Aramich. I wonder if Aramich has gone past Langley or if Langley has closed some time up to the rear of the Aston Martin. It's very possible that Langley has closed up to Mitch. Christian B once again trying to get this position from Scary, but also have to contend with blue flags as Peach in the P3 334 Mustang coming through. Just a few minutes left in this race to wrap up preseason. Again, thank you to those who have tuned in throughout the stream as Scary goes off just ahead of Peach. Possibly a clincher for Peach there, as he didn't know exactly what was going to happen with Scary. But that also leaves door open for Christian B, who may have an opportunity at an overtake here into the next braking zone for the chicane. Christian B, he's just going to take it and send it. In contact between Scary and Christian B. I think they're both trying to get the position back to each other. And Salinas, nowhere to really go, wanted to thread the needle, thought better of it. Christian B now off the track. I think everybody trying to be a bit too polite to each other there and cause some confusion. This fight for P7, as Aramich, I believe, is under attack by Langley. They just seem to be holding station between the two. Langley will be in the slipstream, but not too much of a slipstream inducive track here is Oulton Park. More so going to be in that dirty air as we see Langley, who is trying to push for whatever time he can get, kind of overstepping the rears into turn one. Platypus looking to go past Silth. They're side by side into Lodge Corner. Very respectful racing between the two. Silth is not really going to want to give this position up. Platypus just having to line up behind, but you can tell he is desperate to get this P12 away from Silth. Sorry, P13 away from Silth. Platypus wanted to send it into 3. Silth did not budge, though. And a touch of contact between the two. Marvy gets our second drive-through penalty. Again, Silth and Platypus with their battle side by side into the hairpin and side by side through the hairpin. Silth closes the door around the outside. CLX, don't worry, find somebody in the chat and they will help you go through the Simbot driver sign-up procedure. Promise you it is not as hard as it looks. The 700 goes off and around. And we've got a close pack up here as Phoenix is now right behind Peach, and Phoenix, he can smell the podium. We are just coming to the end. We may get one more lap. I think we will get one more lap in. But Phoenix is not out of this fight, and he wants that podium bad. We'll see if he can get it. He is all over the rear bumper of Peach, and he is driving the wheels off of that car. Had a bit of a wiggle out of the chicane. And CLX, you just need to do the same sign up for Season 5. This is a new season, so the sign up did not work tonight. But we will get you in for race number 1 next week. Griffith will take us for one more lap as there will be 11 seconds as Griffith crosses the line. And we have a battle for the podium between Peach and Phoenix. Is Phoenix going to be able to take it away from the Mustang? Will the pressure be enough for Phoenix to try and pull by and get this position away from Peach? It is not going to be easy. Peach very comfortable on that podium. Phoenix has just a few more opportunities. Does manage to get right up onto the rear of the Mustang coming out of the hairpin, but with the chicane immediately after, not really anywhere to take that momentum. He is starting to get brave though. And the sniffer on the BMW all over the rear end of the Mustang. Will Phoenix have an opportunity into the second of the chicanes? No. But But it's got to be everything that Phoenix has to try and build a drive through Sector 3. It's not over, but there's not much opportunity left. Phoenix out of Druids has Slapshot in P2. Peach in P3. Slapshot one mistake away from falling out of the podium. Phoenix, I don't know if he's going to be close enough to take the third spot away. Griffith up the crest and across the line, takes the win in preseason. Slapshot will take home P2. Peach in P3. Phoenix Gecko P4. Salinas with tricks it, one behind the other, P5 and 6. Aramich in a full crowd of cars. Lynch, Manelli, Scari, Christian B will bring home P7, Nate P8, Langley P9. Goose all by himself will bring home P10. And the battle between Sylph and Platypus continues into Druids. Platypus really wants it, pushing Sylph through the corner. And Platypus has to go wide onto the grass. It's definitely going to take some of his speed away, but maybe Platypus can build a drive out of the final corner. I don't think it'll be enough, though. Sylph will bring home P12, Platypus P13. Some flashing lights signaling good race between the two. It's Griffith on top. Sierra brings home P15. Marvy will bring home P16. The 33 of Devin Lingard will bring home P24. Marvy brings home P16. Nightwalker will bring home P17. Peachy will bring home P18. And it's Nate with the win in AM. Griffith in the win overall. So Griffith, Peach, Phoenix, Salinas, Trixit, Aramich, Nate, Langley, Goose, Dingham, Francisco, Sylph, Platypus, Mataj, Sierra, Marvy, Nightwalker, Peachy, Zoanon, Michael D., Scari, Christian B., Devin Lingard, Rowden, Lynch, Manelli, Ouroboros, Leclerc, James Earl Jones, and Scroll. And then Nate takes home the win in AM. Sierra P2, Nightwalker P3, Peachy P4, Zoanon P5, Michael D P6, Scari P7, Christian B P8, Devin Lingard P9, Rowden P10, Manelli P11, Leclerc P12, James Earl Jones P13, and Scroll P14. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. Sorry about the technical difficulties, but we will find someone to raid. So stick around for just a little bit longer. And I will see you all next week for the next round, the inaugural round of GoFast Racing Season 5. Join me this weekend as I will be broadcasting the Spa 24 Hour with Aztec Racing. I plan to do the whole thing. So I hope to see you then. Thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you all later. Have a good night, and I think we'll go raid Pitskill.